back of smaller children than me. I'm Allison. I am a junior, and I'm double majoring in public policy and music here at the college. So without further ado, I think that there's somebody that we don't really talk about enough in church. And you're not going to guess who it is, because it's Jesus. Nobody laughed at the earlier service either. I'm not good at making jokes. Okay. Anyway, we talk a lot, as you may have guessed, about Jesus, the divine being, Jesus who's always in our hearts, Jesus who was risen from the dead. We talk less about Yeshua, the carpenter's son, who lived a large part of his life as a normal child, being brought up doing normal child things, until a very important day when he was going to be baptized, and all of a sudden, he finds out that he's actually the only son of the only God, and his destiny is to save all of mankind. And he just kind of goes with it. He's like, yeah, okay, that sounds, yeah, cool. What do I gotta do? And that is remarkable. And we don't talk about Jesus as a person going through this after that point. We know he was a child, and then he became essentially God. But he was God in the form of a human, begotten, not made. That's an important distinction, because we know that God has no shortage of metaphors. He has no shortage of symbols. He's got rainbows, floods, I mean, you name it. He can probably figure something out to show what he wants to tell us. But his method was to come in the form of a mortal human being, to walk among other mortal human beings, to navigate the same society and the same social customs that all of us have been trained since birth to navigate. And what's worse, he had to defy them because they didn't go with what he was supposed to do. And that was hard. And he became an outcast, but he kept going, and people followed him. And what made people follow him? That's the question, because a lot of the really esteemed religious leaders, a lot of the people who were looking after their communities saw him, and they said, you're a heretic. You are blaspheming all over the place. You're making a mockery of our religion. Get out. And some of them welcomed him, and some of them even dropped everything and followed him. And what was the difference there? What made them stop and think, maybe this guy isn't telling the truth, but maybe he is. And yeah, let's say he is. Let's go with that. And some of these people definitely had that devout belief that this is the Emmanuel. But can we really expect every single person that welcomed him into every single village to have had that devout surety that this prophecy from thousands of years ago was suddenly coming true right now? So what made them bring him in? They believed in what he wanted to do. He came and he said, I think that maybe we can change things. He took the most reviled, the most feared people in every society, and he showed them more than just love. He showed them more than just kindness. He showed them deference. He treated them like fellow human beings. And people liked that. People saw that, and they said, yeah, let's try doing that. They followed him because they wanted that world. They wanted that vision of humanity that he had. And that's the point. That's the point. It's not some unattainable God looking down and saying, hey, change that. Hey, do this instead. It was a person going against his social order, being tormented, being yelled at, being chased out of town, but still doing it anyway because he thought it was worth doing. And other people looked at that and they said, yeah, that is worth doing. That is something that's worth being outcast for. That is something that's worth getting a dirty look on the street for. And when I was forming this sermon, Pastor Valentine told us, think about what it means to be a lamb of God. What does it mean to have faith? And that's what it means. It means doing something because it's worth doing, defying a rule because that rule isn't worth following. We come here not because we have this individual faith that we hold. We come here because we're a community of people who believe that there's a world that's worth building. There's something worth working towards. There's something worth believing in. Even if we're not 100% sure, it's worth that doubt. It's worth the risk because it's worth being here. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Marit Haugen. I'm a senior at the college majoring in psychology and government, and being a senior, that means I am graduating in 3 weeks. And so I guess today's readings and message really sticks with me today because I'm terrified about graduating and leaving my home for the past 4 years. I'm not sure what my next steps will be, and I feel kind of lost. And so having this idea of a shepherd there to guide me is really helpful. I feel in college I've been very blessed to have wonderful pastors and wonderful parents who have always been there to help me whenever I felt lost. They've talked me through my life and helped me make tough decisions. I feel like my faith has been something that's really helped guide me through my tough times and questioning where I should go, what's next. One thing that my mom has always told me is everything happens for a reason. And I feel like with faith, you kind of learn that everything does happen for a reason, and God has this plan for you. And I think that's helping me through this end of my college career, what's happening next phase. Also, Pastor Ballantyne brought up the idea of discussing the metaphor of the Good Shepherd in a sense that he protects us, and how do we feel this protection works. For me, I sat down and thought about my definition of protection. At first, I thought about it in the sense of preventing the bad stuff from happening. But then I came to realize you can't always protect someone. Protection doesn't always mean preventing the bad stuff from happening. It means helping us when the bad stuff does happen. I thought of it like when you're learning to ride a bike. Your parents put on your helmet, elbow pads, and knee pads because in case you fall, they're trying to help you not get as hurt as you would be if you didn't have any of those things. I think this was really important for me this past January when my grandmother passed away. I remember waking up at 4 that morning, and there was a sense of peace in me, and I thought, she's gone. You see, we knew it was coming. She had been battling cancer for a year. I had gone to see her a few times, which really helped, but also, I just knew she wasn't there anymore. Tuesday, we kind of got a call. It happened on a Thursday. We got a call that she had what was known as the death rattle, and that, to me, signified the end was near. So when I woke up at 4 that morning, and I felt this peace, I kind of brushed it off at first. And I couldn't really fall back asleep right away, so I went to the bathroom. When I came back, I found a voicemail from my parents on my phone. It was my dad telling me that he loved me and to call him when I could. And to me, this signified that she was gone, and it confirmed my fears. I think these things helped me because I had time to process it before I had to call my parents and hear them say it to me and say that she was gone, because I wasn't ready to hear it yet. And I think somewhat this was God working through me so I would be safe before I had to fall. For her funeral, my parents let me read a passage. I read from Philippians, and the final verse was, "I can do all things through him who strengthens me." And this verse really resonated with me because I learned that God will be there with me always and that I can draw strength from him and the people he's placed in my life. I've known through all the tough times that I will have someone there to protect me. It may not be the protection I want, but it's the protection I need because you can't always prevent the bad things from happening. You need to make sure that there's someone there to comfort you when it does, though. Thank you.